Hey everyone, welcome to Chess on the Brain. So today I'm going to analyze a game by Jamaal Abdul-Alim. He's a chess journalist and a friend of mine based in DC, and he did this really awesome game. He did some analysis on this game in the Chess Life magazine under the My Best Move column, as you can see here. So it says that he's the 2013 Chess Journalist of the Year, and this was March 2017. You could find that issue from the March 2017 Chess Life. I did a quick Google search. I didn't find it online, but if you have the collections of Chess Life, you can find it there. So let's dig into this game. I have the game here on leadchess.org. So let's see. Let's get rid of the opening book. We'll just play it out. So he's playing with the white pieces. So Jamaal plays e4. The opponent goes c5. We have a Sicilian. d4. Okay, so this can almost be like a Smith-Morra game. I think usually I see knight f3. But it probably transposes, becomes the same thing. After d4, pawn takes pawn, d3. Now, his opponent chose to decline the offer of the, well, basically saying, okay, take my d4 pawn and my c3 pawn just for the c pawn. So that's the idea of the Smith-Morra gambit, is you're going to give up 2 for 1, but you're going to get quick development. You take back with the knight, and you're just going to be ahead in development, have that central control and open lines. So black should be fine there, but it's just white has the pressure. I'm not gonna take too much time on the entire game because Jamaal's question was about the this attack at the end. Well, there's a really cool moment right before then, leading up to it, where there was this intermezzo or Zwischenzug that Jamaal found. So I want to really focus on that. That was a really cool moment, and then to show you the the final attack. But let's see also how we got there. I'm not going to do one of my hour-long videos. Trying to make it a little bit shorter this time. So he just goes bishop c4. Now, but still, I was wondering about d6. Is that the best move? I doubt it. I've actually played this position with black, and what I like to do is I like to just strike back with d5 anytime I can. Typically I don't like to accept the pawn. I'm like, why should I give in? Sure, if I can get away with it, I will, but why am I going to give in to the system that you want? Chess is all about being contrarian, doing the thing that you want to do, not what your opponent wants to do, right? So you're butting heads. But at the same time, if it doesn't work, you say, fine, do your thing, and I'm going to refute it. I'm going to prove it wrong. That's another aspect. But you're butting heads with your opponent, and you're saying, I'm not going to help you. So I'm wondering whether d5 is one of the main moves. Well, here it says that this is just on a general database. I don't think it's only master games. I prefer to look at just master games. But here we have 36% white, 27% black, a lot of draws, 37% draws. But d5, yeah, it seems that d5 is okay. And then what's the best response to that? I mean, it puts a certain amount of pressure on white, though, because you have to kind of know what to do. It seems you're supposed to take back with the queen. But I can imagine a lot of people would go ahead and take it. Well, if you do that, then it looks like knight f6, and black is sitting pretty comfortably there. Bishop b5 check. Okay, that seems like a good response. Okay, the bishop blocks. That looks like a viable move. And then bishop c4. That's kind of weird, right? To go back. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't think most people would do that. What's like a normal move? That's the main move. But if let's just say they don't do it right. If they don't play it right and they take back with the pawn, and then after knight takes d5, and then you're playing against the isolated pawn. So I think black is okay there. So if I were playing with black here, I probably would just throw my d pawn at them. But instead, I mean, this is another. Actually, you could even just play d3. That's another way to decline the sacrifice. But it's not that. It doesn't seem that great. But I don't know. I mean, after here, then you go. It looks like knight c6 is the main move, and it gets 43%. And then you're just developing like it's kind of a normal game. So that's if you choose not to accept the sacrifice. His opponent ultimately did accept the sacrifice after bishop c4. Let's get off the opening explorer. So knight f6 was played. Computer saying that black is slightly better, but too early to tell, I think. And then Jamaal goes f3, and he mentions in his column that he was, thrown out of the book pretty early. So I imagine this is out of the book already. f3, reinforcing e4 since the knight attacked it. And, well, I mean, if his opponent doesn't do anything, I would be comfortable just taking back. I mean, if you're going to give me that full pawn center, I'll take it. And again, that's why black really wants to be able to preserve that option of 5. Well, sure, he could do it, but he already wasted a move on d6, so he's wasting a tempo here just to strike back. That's really the best way to deal with the centers, to play d5, I think. Unless you can get some really strong pressure on the dark squares. But after f3, well, now as it turns out in the game, you got to be careful. This diagonal did come under pressure, but it's a typical maneuver to go f3, typical setup. Just got to watch out for those dark squares that are now weakened. Knight c6, and then a3. A3, yeah, that seems to give black a pretty decent advantage. So it's a little slow. I would probably do something more, developing. I mean, the computer is recommending just taking back. I guess I'll leave it on for now, see what it says, with a grain of salt. But taking back, yeah, just take the pawn back. But again, I think, yeah, see, d5 is still possible. It would have been better to do it immediately in one fell swoop, but that's still kind of annoying because if you take it, once again, you can take maybe even knight b. No, there's no need for that. There's no need. Just take back, and black is doing fine. Okay, if the knight challenges it, yeah, knight b. I like that. Just kick the bishop back. Let's say it goes to b3 to keep pressure. Oh, then this falls. So you're kind of forcing bishop e5 to pin it. E6. Can we get the bishop outside? Nah, we shouldn't rush into. Oh, because d5 is coming, right? So we don't want to get, because we got the pin, so you got to watch out for d5. So we'll just play e6, or even challenge it right away with a6. Both seem to be fine. And then if they take, okay, this is actually typical. We have a pawn on c6 versus d4, and you both have an isolated pawn, but black is really trying to clamp down on that d5 square and lock down the d4 pawn. So about equal, about equal. But a3, probably a little bit too slow. I would just take it back, or if you're not going to take it back, I would argue for something like knight e2. That's the practical move when you're not going to take back, and then you take and you develop. But I mean, you got to say that black has just as up a pawn. There's not really enough, and I agree with the computer's e6 just blocks the bishop. Sure, white's a little more active, but it's like a normal position in Sicilian only. Black has gained a free pawn, right? Didn't they end up winning the free? Yeah. Basically won the c pawn. Yep. Because it could be a regular Sicilian position with a pawn on c2. So a3, again, a little slow. Let's see. I would play something more rapid, just rapid development there. Knight e5, bishop check. I like how Jamaal plays after this though. He may not have known the opening, but then he really picked it up and did well after this. So takes, knight takes. Okay, black's up a pawn. It is what it is, without huge compensation. Now this was interesting. I like this. He took with the a pawn, which is a typical idea. Again, it's always sort of counterintuitive. It seems counterintuitive to double your pawns, but you're opening up your rook. So there is that benefit. Hitting a7, which actually is really relevant in a lot of lines. You see this tactic on b6, where like you try and push b6, or in some lines you even have a knight somehow getting to b6. And there's actually two possibilities in this very game, just because of this file. So queen b6 makes sense, and trying to really exploit that diagonal that white has opened up, and you haven't occupied e3 yet with your bishop. So his opponent just said, all right, well, I'm not going to let you get there. Okay, now you got to do queen e2 to go here, but that's awkward because then you're blocking your knight. Your knight wants to go to e2. So the computer likes f4 first. Well, f4 with the idea of queen f3. That's really interesting because you can't go to d3, and again, you don't want to go to e2 right now. But after you play f4, you create a pocket on f3, which gives you control of the e3 square, so we can boot that queen out of there, and then we can go about our business, get our knight out the castle, and white. Actually, I think white's starting to really get some compensation for practical purposes. The fact that you have those pawns in the center, you've got the development, you get the castle, then black still needs to figure out what to do with his king. So and maybe later on, maybe we can go for like just throw your pawns at him and get a big attack. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we got, I always ask, so for the videos, if you have a song to request, this was Wu-Tang Clan, so a really good band. So, yeah, that's the soundtrack right now. Impossible instrumental. And I like that recommendation. I think instrumentals are good. I did have the Queen, I had Queen with all the lyrics and everything. I thought that was good, but it can get a little distracting, so I think the instrumentals are good for that. So knight g2, knight f to d7. Well, What's going on? Well, it looks like the knight wants to go to c5. That's active. Oh, well, yeah, they want this and this. That's pretty obvious. And they want this, this, and mate. Okay, there's nothing veiled about that. That's just a direct mating idea once you land a knight on d3. And, you know, that's a weak square, weak square, weak square. So his opponent is trying to exploit that. And again, I think that's why it would have been nice to just kick those knights out of there. Kick that queen out that diagonal. But it is what it is. It's just he's developing. But what's the plan here? It was queen to d4. I think that's what he wanted to do. You know, it's okay. You're down a pawn, but you're still going to have that pressure. And eventually, once you do get that bishop on e3, look at that. You're going to have all this pressure on a7. You're probably going to win the a7 pawn back. And then you got your knight coming in. There's a lot going on here. You got the c file coming on the c file. f4. Oh, well, he still wants his mate race. He says, all right, if you're going to give it to me, I will take it. Interestingly enough, though, look at that point. So Stockfish, the open source, just like Lichess is an open source site, and Stockfish is the open source chess engine that it uses. It says after knight d4 that white is up half a pawn, even though white's theoretically technically down a pawn. But in value, the value of the position being up a pawn. That's a lot. That means like 1.5 pawns of compensation. That's good. He did queen d4, which it prefers black there. Now, what's so strong about knight d4? Well, you block it, but okay, what if like, oh, you're hitting this? So what would happen if e5? Well, that's just a weakening move. I mean, I think we can just, oh, you have time for this one. That's nice. And then if the queen takes, you get your check in. Oh, and that's going to fall. That's nice. That's nice. So you could throw in your check, and then imagine we trade queens, yeah? And then we just take the rook, and you're up the exchange. Plus, that's going to fall. Now, can they get it back? Can they get it back? Take here. King goes to b8. Let me see here. That's interesting. Let's see what would happen. It's always a question. If you think you're going to win the exchange in the corner, do you really win it or not? Can they trap your knight? After this, what do we have here? Just retreat. You don't need to do anything. Well, oh, you have c7. I mean, the knight's like sitting in the corner, but he's defended. And after c7, you just escape here, and you're back in the game. You might lose the b6 pawn, but hopefully not. But even if you do, you're up the exchange, clean exchange up. So white definitely got some, payback for that investment, got those dividends. So knight c5, and then white should be winning with knight d5. It's like, but Jamaal castled, and now it's like dead equal, according to the computer. It's roughly equal. Why is knight d5 so good? Well, it's pretty nasty actually. Check this out. After queen d8, obviously you can't take because then you walk into a nice family fork there. Let's just play that out because it's cool. So yeah, you don't really want that. After queen d8, b6 is the idea, and now you got that knight c7 coming. So the rook needs to move. You take on a7. Now you're threatening the queen, right? Because same thing, rook takes, and then you can take it, and you got when queen takes, you've deflected it, and you get that fork. You're gonna end up getting forking the king and queen. So they have to go back again, and then you kick the knight out of the way, and that's where you're trying to get into here. And then if they kick your knight, you trade, and this just favors white. And you just keep your pawn on a7. It's a monster on a7. And then the knight, actually the best move is to get forked. Okay, white's winning. I'm like, well, wait, hold on. What if knight takes well? Then you just drop g7. That's even worse because these are both falling. Trying to take the rook with check. It says +5 over a rook up. So that's bad. Let me double check, make sure we're good on the dashboard. We're live, all right. And let me know if you have any questions. I got the chat here. Feel free to pitch in. I'm all for a discussion. Hopefully, I will check before. I'll try to check before the end. Otherwise, we'll discuss at the end. So queen d4, knight c5. Now it should be losing again. What's the move? The knight c5. The winning move was knight d5. Well, okay, Jamaal gets his moment though for that. So castles e5. Now this was well, it's like theoretically a weakening move, right? Leading a lot of weaknesses here. But Jamaal mentions in the column that he didn't like it here. He said after this, he said e5. Let me zoom that in real quick. No, I'm solo. No tech team. I try to make it work. He said right here though, e5 created a big problem for me because if I attempt to save my queen by fleeing to any of the light squares on d5 or c4, or the disastrous d1 or d2, my opponent has a discovered check. Right. Well, the idea is this diagonal gets nasty. Right. It's very very dangerous. So plus you got the b3 square because of this pawn moving and this pawn moving earlier to c3. You leave weakness. That always comes up. You move these two pawns, you leave weaknesses here. So it turned out it wasn't good enough though. Well, Jamaal found a really nice rejoinder, knight d5. Now that was so nice that it was like intermezzo in between moves, wish and to whatever language you want to use. Queen d8. Now if well, what else is there? Oh, there's taking, right? If takes right away. See, there you go. That's the example of the pin. That's possible because of Jamaal's good choice to take on b5, and after rook d8, knight goes back to d5. I mean, this is just look at the control he's got here. I suppose you could even take right away, couldn't you? You could probably just take this right away. Oh, then there's d3 or d5. Oh, it seems like charger's not working, huh? Or d5. I always have problems with my charger. Like, got to make the play that again. Got to make it go in the socket just right. Otherwise it dies. Okay. So I have 20%. Let's see if we can make that work. Otherwise I'll have to mess with the wall. Okay. Knight takes b6. So again, like it's just very strong though. And if you take here, well, this is a little bit more annoying because d5. I mean, it should be okay, but then a little bit of counterplay. They're holding on to this pawn. Just a little more annoying, and you can imagine this is coming now that they're holding here. So it seems like the easiest way to handle this would be, after taking, would be just to come back with the knight. Which is what happened. That's exactly what happened in the game. Oh, no, sorry, that's not what happened. He didn't want to trade queens. Probably should have, but he chose not to. And then White's winning. So that was a critical moment that his opponent missed. F takes e5. It seems like queen c4 was really strong. Well, probably because of this complication with knight b3. But it turned out that wasn't that big of a deal. If queen c4, I mean, you're going to get hit with rook c8 and take on. It's a big mess. It's more complicated there. I think f takes e5. Let's see. Yeah, but the problem was knight b3 was just that was a tempting move, but it just failed. It just failed, and Jamaal exploited it. He refuted it really nicely, but that just loses on the spot. Amazing. It doesn't seem like it, but amazingly, it's just over. I mean, keep in mind, even though there was this diagonal, once you deal with this diagonal, now the problem is, White's king is okay. You can always move over, whatever you need to do, but Black's king is now the one that's in trouble. So now we get to our classic centralized king that, like those romantic chess games from the so-called romantic era of chess, not of painting, like from the 1800s, where you just blow through the center, crash through and get to the king. So knight b3 failed. The best move was either knight takes or pawn takes. Well, what's so bad about knight take? Why is that losing? Oh, wow. Wow. Again, b6 is just a killer. Look at how strong that is. You're threatening a7 again. You're threatening knight c7 first. So knight d6 seems to be a reasonable move. Then you throw in the check. Okay, we're going to win the exchange, aren't we? No, the knight covers. Queen d7. We're going to get a7. It's still really... No, we're going to get a7, and then we have knight b6. So wait, what if knight takes? What if knight... It seems like there's so many options that Black has here. And now what's the big threat? Because you're covering this and this. I mean, White just... We're at 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So basically, White got the pawn back with a huge advantage. Massive knight, massive pawn on a7, and just tied down. And then, oh wow, you can actually get away with knight d4. It's winning. And then you just remove the knight, and you're going to get your fork. Not only that, but once you get the rook, you get the queens. That's pretty much game. But knight b3 is also game because Jamaal found, and as he says, Where is this? Control. No? Okay, this snipping tool. This is a snipping tool. Well, sorry, Jamal, for ruining the chessboard right there, but there it is. My best move right here was this very nice queen c3. So right there on the big board, we see queen c3, and so what's the idea behind queen c3? Really, well, you're attacking the knight. I mean, it looked like, so at first he was like, well, I'm getting forks, but then, so, it'd be nice to say, hey, I plotted this whole thing like 10 moves ago. Maybe Fischer or some top grandmasters do that. We don't always see everything, but as long as you respond effectively when it matters, and he did, it's a super sharp position, so we're not computers, right? But he did ultimately found the really hard move to find, queen c3, and it's just winning on the spot. So Jamal asked, was there a way for black to escape? So this is the critical moment. Let's see if they can. I don't think so. It looks like, well, this is +6, but it's pretty crushing. There's knight c7 check is coming. So, but it's not just about dropping this. It's that when you get that check, the king moved to d7, which was probably worse, but the entire position just collapses immediately. I mean, that's just the punishment of that centralized king. You got the f file. I mean, look at it. Just take a moment. Just take stock of this position in terms of where our pieces are. Obviously black's king is centralized. Look at all of our activity here. So we have a queen that's aiming down c file, looking this way. If it needs to, it's looking other ways too. But most importantly, those two directions. The rook's looking this way. It's about to get taken, but that doesn't matter because we have stronger threats. We are attacking f7. Our pawn is temporarily on e5, which matters a lot. With all this wishes, you got all this in-between moves that happened, all this chaos. Black didn't get the chance. His opponent didn't take back. So that's going to be an important asset for us that we can use. This bishop, maybe. Yeah, the bishop comes out to maybe to g5, and the knight can come out. But these guys are a little bit more like sleepers right now. But they could quickly come out. But the immediate active pieces that really matter. Maybe this pawn too, as we mentioned, b6 comes up a lot. It also creates look at this mating net. Yeah, Jamal mentioned the mating net, where you have c6, f6. I mean, he's stuck in there, right? His king is stuck. And you have the b6 idea. You have the knight coming in everywhere. So it's bad. And then, meanwhile, what are the resources? Well, black's position is just kind of discombobulated. You have like a hanging knight on g4. You have a rook on a8. These pieces are doing nothing. So you could think, like, to compare it to, for example, Morphy's opera box game against the Duke and the Count in, when was that? Like 1800 something in France. So he also, his opponent had like a bishop on f8, rook here. The pieces just never went out. The pieces that were out were all tangled or, also just lacking coordination. So when you see a situation like that, apart from just calculating, pure lines, you can just intuitively feel like there's probably something good there because of your relative, strength in terms of your piece placement versus your opponent's terrible piece placement. Okay, so knight takes a1. That's like, it's about what's in the game. That's like being up a couple pieces temporarily anyway, and that's enough time, especially with a centralized king. That's enough time to pounce and, as they say, strike when the iron's hot, make it count. Now we have a knight c7 check. So this is the killer right here. Not because it's a fork, but because it pulls the king out. So actually the best move is to stack the queen. Give up the queen, desperado style. And the knight tries to come out, let's say, and you just eat everything. And it's over. That's just over. Well, if the rook moves to here, do we have like rook f7 or something? Oh, bishop bishop g5. Then you make, because the knight would block, and then you just eat the knight. You just keep eating everything, right? Just take. Let's say they block, you just keep pushing, and the bishop blocks, and that's a mate. Yeah, everything loses. Okay, there's some nice lines here. So after king d7, oh no, it's over because rook takes f7. And then I haven't looked at this one yet, but I think you take on d6. Oh no, again bishop g5. If you take on well then queen takes d6. Bishop g5, and again they got a block. Let's say f6. Now we have 1, 2, 3. Come on, lead chess. There we go. 3, 4. Actually, that was my mouse. Maybe it was me. Okay, I can't blame him. Okay, knight f6. So yeah, that's just crashing through an f6. Nothing to do about that. So king d7 now, maybe. I mean, otherwise takes. Let's just say to take. Oh yeah, keep the diagonal. I like that, of course. I'll let the computer find that one. But that's nice, yeah. Because then you have this. Well, the only thing is they have the flight square, but they can't get out. And you can see the power of your pawn controlling d6 as well. It takes. Well, I will say, my computer it's lasted me. I was like 4 years old. My car is like 10 years old, so I'm trying to make it last. You know, no obsolescence here. No obsolescence. Trying to make them last. King d7. Durable chess positions. Durable equipment, right? Yeah, just win the queen. I mean, you're winning a queen and you're still coming in, so that's bad. But yeah, but one way or the other, they have to give up their queen. But after king d7, check. Yeah, there's no way out of this. And again, the only way out is to lose your queen, basically. But then you get mated maybe 10 moves later. So again, losing the queen. This is nice, actually. Just look at the sequence. So check, king back, takes, win the rook. Right? You're getting at c7 now with the queen. You're breaking through it. And actually, there's a mating net on f7 now. So this is all mating net here. And we're going to work around that way. And now this is a cool finish. Check this out. So check. And then you just do the quiet move. Silent but deadly bishop g5. And then, okay, anything loses. But the point is, what's the point of bishop g5? Think about that for a second. Pin the knight. So it enables queen d7. So you're immediately going here to here. And actually, rook f8 fails because you just mate right away. Then there's actually no escape. But if they want to make an escape, it doesn't work either. And they get mated similarly. f7. Okay, so bishop e7, e6, check, and this was Jamaal's, and then a very elegant finish. It almost looks like it's going to be a smothered mate or something when the knight goes to a6 or h6. But you're just, again, you're for either one way or the other. The queen's got to give herself up. In this case, they resign, or they would have to give up their queen and get mated. I don't know what's better to do. I guess it's pretty typical to resign before the last move. I don't know. I don't know. What is the consensus on that? Is it? I'm not sure if there is one. Is it better to play it out and just let them checkmate you like a gentleman kind of thing, like, hey, out of respect, or should you just resign and say, okay, you got me? I think both are fine as long as you don't just like knock the pieces down. As one IM actually did that against me at the World Open, knocked his pieces down and said, I'm an international master. I shouldn't be losing to you. It's not about who your opponent is, right? That was a good moment. It wasn't a good moment for him. I felt kind of bad, but still, it felt good in a way too because it's like it was funny, but but I mean, hey, it's serious. You know, chess is a serious game. People get angry over it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game. But anyone can be beaten any day. So that was nice. Check. And there's no way out. There's just no pieces. So that long range attack, all because of that initial nice move, queen c3. Who cares about the rook on a1? Similar like romantic attacking style, just go all out, get your checkmate. So that was cool. That was very, very nicely done. And to answer your question, no, there was no way out that I can see out of the mating net, other than losing the queen. But that would also lose pretty shortly. Yeah. So taking now again, yeah, queen c4, but that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard for a human to find because, yeah, we'll leave that to Stockfish. I mean, you're moving your queen out of the way, but it just seems kind of weird because you're going to get hit by the rook. So I think taking it was fine. And again, I think we looked at knight takes, right? Yeah, if knight takes, we have that nasty b6, also wins. But in the game, no, wait, what about pawn takes? We didn't look at that. If pawn takes, okay, well now we're basically forced to go to find a queen c4. But again, if rook c8, still b6. Wow, that b6 is just a nasty move right there. Wait, what if you take queen b? Is it the idea queen b5 check? No, you take. Oh, because it's a mate right there. That's nice. Oh, that's what that justifies queen c4 because you're hitting f7, of course. So even if you get hit by the rook, who cares? You're not going to win the rook because he has rook c7. No, you are, because then you have rook a8. Yeah, we have rook a8 now, and obviously the queen can't take it because then she'd be, allowing checkmate. So 96 it says is the best move, but now you're dropping your rook, getting a lot of material back. And then you finally bishop c5 check, but then that still favors. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we win the exchange at least out of that. So yeah, and then let's go back to that really nice move, queen c3. So after knight, so knight b3 was a blunder actually, but hey, great games. It takes both sides, right? Your opponent needs to help you a little bit. They can't play perfectly. They make a little mistake, but that's human chess, and that enables a brilliant move like queen three, elegantly winning the game. That's a nice finish. Fun game to play. Cool. Really nice game, Jamal. Hopefully I answered the question. Let me double check that there's no questions. Anyone? Nope. All right. And I thought I had that there. Well, if you like, feel free to submit your game if you like this kind of thing. To analyze your games for free, and if you want to, not at all necessary. Actually, Jamal, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jamal, for supporting me on Patreon. But of course, you don't have to do it. If you want to leave a tip, you can. But like 2 people did. Or I think now I have 3. Yeah, and 2 people who have analyzed the games. But like most people don't, and that's totally cool too. But if you want to support it, go ahead. I'd appreciate it. Thanks. You're welcome, Jamal. Did you have any questions? Let me know. And let's see. Oh, I kept it at 31 minutes. All right, right around 30 minutes. So that's pretty good for me in terms of brevity, because usually I just get lost in it. Hopefully providing something useful. But yeah, I like to get into it, trying to get to the truth of the position. But I think the strategy of like just focusing on a couple of things, like in this case, it was looking at the opening a little bit, focusing on that key moment with queen c3, and then looking at the mating attack. Yeah, a lot of good stuff in that game. So really nice game, and that definitely deserves the my best move. That's what Jamal said, his best move right here, I guess, of his career. It's queen c3. So cool. Thanks for sharing that, Jamal. And looking forward to seeing what you're going to do with the next ones. And yeah, I think in terms of, I think you're playing really good chess. I think you should keep on moving up. Let's just figure out what it is that you think you need to do in order to get to the next level. Is it defense? Is it positional chess? Is it your end game? Because it seems, your attack is on point. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Because I think a couple of tweaks should have you, getting to 16, 17, 1800 pretty soon, moving up to A level and beyond. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Thanks, Jamal.